So the objective of this webinar is to help people who have marginally failed and need some advice. So what can I say? Well, to begin with, let me just give you a little bit of a background. If you don't know who I am, I've been talking to students about SBL for a very, very long time. In terms of credibility, I've been awarded the PQ Lecturer of the Year and I've been runner-up twice. If you go onto the ACCA YouTube channel, if you go into the ACCA platform, if you go into Student Accountant, you'll see lots of stuff that the ACCA have asked me to write. I'm their tutor expert. And I also run online platinum approved courses, which are the highest level of courses you can get. And the reason I'm saying all of this is not to tell you about me, but just to warn you of the experts online. Yep, there's lots of people who talk about ACCA exams who really, well, not very credible. Yeah, if they're not approved by the ACCA, they're not credible. Yeah, if you're doing a course with someone that is not an approved learning provider, it's not credible. So just be careful. There's a lot of fake news out there. There's a lot of people like the sound of their own voice, and you're putting time to listen to this stuff. Normally, if it's free, unless it's the ACCA Study Hub or any ACCA materials, it's certainly not got the blessing of the ACCA. So if you have marginally failed and you've been using resources that aren't ACCA ones, stop using them. Yep. If you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me by email. But the best way that because I'm on WhatsApp with my students all the time, is via WhatsApp. Yep. You can follow me on LinkedIn. There's lots of material on YouTube you can see as well. So the key thing about this evening is take action, as the exam is just over 6 weeks away. It didn't work last time, so I think you need to do something different next time. Okay, what I want to share with you first, and maybe you can self-reflect whether this is you. What do good students look like? Well, good students that I come across are personally motivated, think they're personally organized. How organized are you? Do you have a timetable of living for the next 6, 7 weeks? If you don't, you're not as organized as you should be. The benefit of a timetable, it will provide you with a routine. When you have a routine, you just do it. A good analogy, if you ever train for a marathon, it's a nightmare when you first start doing it. But once you just train at a certain time, you just do it. You just do it. It requires no effort. It requires no willpower. So that's how I'd like your study to be. It helps if your work environment is the same work environment. It sends a clear psychological message. What else? Well, you need to have a place for study and then a place where you're playing if you can. So just get yourself a zone. It just sends the right psychological signal. So you're personally motivated, you're personally organized, and you're not using someone who's talking rubbish on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. You're using an ACCA approved approach. You can check that out with the ACCA. Yep. So in terms of resources which you might have been using, well, it's up to you. If you're self-studying, use the ACCA material. Yeah, study text, I would just get the ACCA Study Hub material. You can get lots of past questions on the ACCA website. There is exam kits. The problem with exam kits is they tend to give ACCA official answers, which are not necessarily to represent real student answers. Remember that they have a tutorial purpose. And become familiar with the CBE resources on the ACCA platform. They put mocks up there. Make sure you can see them. Okay. I would always advocate, I mean, it's entirely up to you, but I would want to pass my exams as quickly as possible. And the best way to pass them as quickly as possible is get some guidance from an expert. Some people like to teach themselves to drive. I've got a driving instructor, sorted it out quickly. Some people might like to teach themselves to swim. I think it would be better getting a swim coach. Yep. So anything, if you want done, often helps with the benefits of an expert. It's not a technical exam, as you know, if you've marginally failed. But if you were learning stuff, well, you weren't approaching it the right way because you need to be able to understand stuff. Okay, that's key. That's key. And you need to then apply the tasks that you get in the context of the scenario. It's not about regurgitating theory. No marks for that. Yep. And you hopefully realize that it is a different exam to other ACCA exams. And the key difference is really the rationale. Yep. And in terms of the rationale, you need to acquire some technical knowledge, but not regurgitate it. You need to apply it in the context of both being a leader and in the workplace. You also need to tune in to the professional skills mark. Yep. So why did you fail your exam? Well, if you marginally failed, it wasn't due to lack of knowledge. If you get over 45, the examining team definitely have a look at it at least a couple of times. Yeah, they want you to pass. And the reason you failed would either be timing, layout, poor mark focus, or maybe you didn't do enough practice. Maybe you didn't get feedback. Yeah, it's really important to get some feedback. So let me say a little bit about timing. In terms of timing, you have a budget. It's 3 hours plus 15 minutes, which is 195 minutes. You've got 30 minutes reading and planning, I would say, which gives you about 165 minutes. Do you divide by 100? Well, you could do, but I personally would probably maybe think about dividing by 80, because the professional skills marks take no time to do. But the point I'm making is you have a budget. Yep, it's a project management exercise in mark acquisition. How do you deal with that massive scenario? Well, it's a bit like how do you eat an elephant? You break it down into chunks. Yep, label things, highlight them. Try to picture, visualize what's the storytelling. Yep, make it real in real life. Yep. So that's what you need to try to do. What else? Well, in terms of presentation, the marker must love you. What does the marker do? Well, the marker's job needs to be made easy. Clear layout, good opening statement. So you could present like this. I'm not sure that's great. Yep, it's hard for the marker to read. Yep. Whereas if you were to present like this, it's much easier. So subheadings and white space. Okay. I'm just going to check everything is clear so far and there are no questions. So just bear with me. Just let me have a quick look. Okay, I think we're fine. We're fine. I'm going to go back. So you need to reflect how you prepared for the September exam, which sadly you didn't pass. It didn't work, did it? So if you're going to pass next time, you need to make some changes. Yep. So think about what I said a good student looks like. They're well organized. They have a timetable. They use ACCA resources. Yep. When should you take it? Well, most definitely. Do you take it in December or March? I take it in December. The knowledge is fresh. Please take it in December. I think what you need to do, though, is realize it's 6 weeks away. Get yourself organized for the next 6 weeks. And with the right approach, you can definitely pass it next time. But I think the key thing is you need to get some feedback. So say you do mock exams, you're with a training provider. Do they just give ticks? I mean, what does that tell you? With my students on my courses, I give comprehensive feedback about what's good, what needs to improve, and what's not so good. Yep. So you need to make sure if your tutors are not doing that for you, you need to hustle and hassle them to do so. Okay. In terms of my revision course and what that looks like, I write all my own materials really, but we use ACCA articles. I've recorded over 40 videos to make things easy, to show you that a question could go that way, but if you said this and went that way, that would be okay. Or if you said this and went that way, that would also be okay. It's just really helpful. Yeah. I try to keep those videos no longer than 30 minutes in length. A lot of them are a bit shorter. My students, if they have any questions on any of those videos or questions on anything, send me WhatsApps and I get back to them straight away. I work with the education team as the ACCA expert, so I have a lot of examiner insights. Have a read of my reviews of the last two examiner reports, which again are on the ACCA website. Have a look at them. I do marked homework. So before you really get stuck into mocks, and whilst, in between doing mocks, you'll be marked homework you must complete. Again, you don't just get a few ticks, comprehensive comments. You get 2 full mocks on the CBE platform because that's where your exam is, not Excel, not Word, the CBE platform. I get it marked by real ACCA markers. The final mock will use December 24 pre-seen material. Yeah, loads and loads of stuff there that is going to help you pass the exam. So my advice to you, please do at least 1 mock at a time. You can get free mocks off the ACCA website. They can't be marked, unfortunately. So if you are doing it as a study alone and not getting help, try to find a study buddy. But also don't. I would say you're not going to get a good course for free, but you're going to qualify much quicker. Yeah, if you qualify, you are going to double or triple your salary in the next 2 to 5 years. The benefit that will bring you and the career opportunities that will bring you compared to paying for a course, that's what I did when I did exams. I couldn't study on my own. So please, though, it's about practice, it's about feedback, doing mocks to time. Okay. So just to remind you, contact details, they are here. There was a couple of people, for whatever reason, got trapped in the waiting room. I'm not sure why you got trapped in the waiting room. I apologize for that, and maybe pop me any questions you have. Okay. Thank you for listening. I hope that helps. And if you want to send me any questions via WhatsApp, more than happy to answer them. Okay. All right. Just let me know you're on this webinar and yeah, you were locked in the waiting room. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to probably edit this little bit out, but do you have any questions at all? Are you okay? You can put them in the chat box if it's difficult to speak. Let me have a look in the chat box. Happy to answer them. No, I think everything's okay. Drop me a WhatsApp if you do have a question. Thank you very much.